Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. Today we are taking a look at this, the PC Engine SuperGrafx from NEC. Now, as you may or may not know, depending on how much you've listened to the channel, I am a huge fan of PC Engine. They are almost certainly my favourite set of consoles. They are the ones that really got me onto the retro gaming sphere and has got me collecting stuff, so I now have the ludicrous collection I've got now because of that. So I always like talking about them. This is the certainly the lesser thought of member of the PC Engine world. It's one of the rarer ones, not the rarest, but one of the rarest. And yeah, it's not thought of favourably for several reasons. So anyway, yeah, this is the SuperGrafx. So effectively, the history of this is quite interesting, and we'll just do a very quick flyby of it. So you have to remember that the PC Engine was released effectively to fight the 8-bit battle. So when it was released, it was kind of aiming to go up against the NES and the Master System rather than anything else. But it wasn't long after that that the 16-bit consoles, the Megadrive and the Super Nintendo, turned up. So the PC Engine, though, was incredibly powerful, and it did manage to hold its own for quite a long time. The one thing that people don't remember is that for a long time in Japan, the PC Engine was number 2. Sega really was quite a distant third. And Nintendo always considered, well, for the 16-bit battle, so the NEC were their main rivals. The PC Engine was its main rival, rather than Sega. But as the generation moved on and programmers got used to all the tricks for both of for the Super Famicom and for the Mega Drive, the PC Engine started to look like it was falling further and further behind. So NEC knew they had to come up with some kind of follow-up. Now, they had been developing one. They'd been developing a 32-bit system, in fact, one that had a CD drive in it and had a lot of expansion capabilities. Was very, very good at 2D stuff, had a built-in JPEG decoder, so it could do FMV really well and all sorts of things like that. However, when they realised that they were going to have to come up with a follow-up for the PC Engine, but the PC Engine was, at that point, doing okay, they suddenly got really frightened of releasing what was going to be the PCFX. We were counted the PCFX at one point, because that's also a fascinating machine. But anyway, so the problem with the PCFX was that it wasn't backwards compatible with the PC Engine, which was obviously their flagship machine that was doing okay still. So they got cold feet. And so instead they decided, well, we need to release something that's backwards compatible. Now, up to this point, NEC had released an awful lot of PC Engines, but they were basically the same machine, just in different shells and with a few extra components in there, but nothing that really increased the power. So this was what they were going to call their PC Engine 2, and that ended up being the SuperGrafx. Now, the difference between this and the PC Engine, because like I say it is backwards compatible, is that this has 4 times as much memory, so it's 32K rather than the 8K of the original, and it has an extra GPU. So the GPUs, the HU chips that they were used for graphics in the PC Engine, incredibly powerful chips, by the way. This had 2 of them, and plus a few extra chips just to handle those dual CPUs, so the programmers could use them easier. And then they released it. But the problem was, this was 1989. It was kind of coming close to really the peak to the end of the 16-bit era. The rumours of the next machines were already out there. People already kind of knew that Sony had something on the boil. They knew that Sega were looking at their next machine as well. And so that, just basically a beefed up PC Engine, really wasn't going to cut it. And so this didn't do well at all. But anyway, let's take a quick look. So it's got very interesting styling. It looks very futuristic and also quite like mechanical as well, with all the plastic mouldings to make it look like giant screws and stuff. So yeah, and these are all plastic moulded, these aren't real either. So they give it a very industrial look on the front. There we go. There's a like small expansion socket there, which would have been used for extra controllers, like more powerful controllers, including the cancelled power controller. The standard small DIN PC Engine controller socket, so that will take any normal PC Engine socket. Obviously the Hue cards, and this is a standard expansion socket, so they would take also the same expansions, including the CD-ROM attachments. They did plan to make some SuperGrafx CDs, but they were never ever released. Right, now this machine itself, it was 100% backwards compatible with all of PC Engine games, which obviously gave it a huge library. But they also planned to have its own library of games. Now, not many were released in the end. About 5 were actually put out to market. There were several others that cancelled, and also a whole lot of games that were made for the PC Engine but had enhancements for the SuperGrafx. Now, of the 5, I've got 3 of them. So I've got Battle Ace, Daimakuma, who are better known as Ghouls and Ghosts, and also Mado. God, what is the name of that one? It's got an odd name. Mado King Granzort. Yeah. So yeah, these are the ones I've got. They come in very nice. Apart from this one, I didn't get the box for, but they come in rather nice cardboard boxes. And then the standard PC Engine CD-ROM style case afterwards. And if we open this up. There we go. You see, it just looks like a normal PC Engine set up inside. And indeed, you can put those in a PC Engine, though it won't do anything. So, yeah. They're pretty. I really do like them, actually. They are really nice. Now, the other 2 games, which are obviously incredibly rare and hard to get hold of, is a version of 1941 Counter-Attack and Aldiness, which is kind of a shoot 'em up thing. I'm not too concerned about not having those, but yeah, maybe one day I'll get them. Probably not. They go for stupid amounts of money. There's also like Darius Plus, which was a PC Engine game that had enhancements for the SuperGrafx. Now I can play those games because you can in fact use the turbo chip, the Everdrive, in it. Obviously the SuperGrafx games will only work in the SuperGrafx, but they do indeed work, so we can still try those out later. Yeah, and by later I guess I mean now. Let's power this up and actually play some games. Okay, so here we are. So we'll go in alphabetical order. There's only 5 of them, so we may as well. So yeah, this is 1941 Counter-Attack. I mean, if you've never played 1941 before, you're missing out. It's one of the best vertical shoot-ups going. Very simple compared to lots of them, but still a lot of fun. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of something you're going to see from a lot of these games, which is the did you really need a massively enhanced PC Engine to play them? Yeah. It's an interesting question, and who knows? I mean, we don't really know. These games weren't, in general, released on the normal PC Engine, so you just kind of don't know. But seeing what some of the stuff that the PC Engine has done, like this game for a start, really does not feel like, doesn't feel like it's doing anything that the PC Engine wouldn't have been capable of, or at least not close enough anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's yeah, again, it's it's a theme you're going to see in a lot of these games. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. So yeah, Aldines, however it's pronounced. Get to try. Right. Yep, go on, let's start. There we go. So yep, so this is a horizontal shoot 'em up. Now this is one where there is one thing that the SuperGrafx was needed for. So you see there's the multiple parallax backgrounds. So the one thing that the SGX could do that the PC Engine couldn't is it had multiple sprite layers. Specifically only 2, same as the Megadrive. But it does mean that things like parallax were a lot easier. So probably this at least would have been tricky to do exactly like this, just because of the parallax. But then, you know, how much does the parallax add to it? It's quite a muddy game other than that. I'm not particularly fond of it. It's quite slow and, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this game anyway. But, yeah, maybe that one thing that might have been a lot hard to do on the PC Engine. Right, anyway, let's move on to the next one. Okay, so here we are with Battle Ace. Now, this one you kind of hope does do quite a lot because it's by Hudson themselves. I think this bit's quite interesting. Not sure if you'd could have done that on the PC Engine or not though. Well, I mean, this one, I will say, it's quite fast. Merely there's nothing on screen at the moment. Oops, I guess I was hitting the special fire there. Yeah, I guess the one thing of this is the scaling and the speed of it is probably taking advantage of that extra GPU, sorry. But again, it's still not a great game. I mean, it's an Afterburner clone, which is not a particularly good Afterburner clone. So yeah. On to the next one. Yes, Daima Kimura. Ghouls and Ghosts. This is a fantastic game. I really do love it. We've reviewed this one already on the SuperGrafx. I will say that this probably would not be able to be done on the PC Engine, just because of how fast it is and how big the sprites are, more than anything. And it's very fluid. I would say this is probably the best conversion of Ghouls and Ghosts on the this generation of console. Personally, I mean, that's my personal opinion. But yeah, it's really fluid. It's incredibly fast. I'm getting into it, so I'm not talking as much. Yeah, it just looks really, really nice. It's just gorgeous. I think this, yeah, this is almost certainly one of the best conversions of the generation. I don't think it was until the later 32-bit machines got a conversion that it got any better than this. But yeah, fantastic. Right, so this is Mado King Granzort. I'm not fond of this game. I think we've reviewed this one as well. Yeah, so it's a giant robot game, but it just, yeah, it's quite dull. And again, I'm not convinced. Yeah, maybe the sprites are a bit big for the PC Engine to handle, but there's not so much going on that I don't think the PC Engine will handle it. There is a bit of parallax, so maybe again you could say that, but yeah, I'm not convinced that buying a bigger, expensive machine would be worth it for this game, for what you get for it. But then again, I'm slightly biased because I'm not fond of this game. I don't know, it's just not great. It's quite a dull game. Alright, I mean, that's the main game's done, so I guess if we'll just take a quick look at Darius Alpha. I said Darius Alpha, I meant Darius Plus. So yeah, this is Darius Plus, so this is a game that was technically a PC Engine game, but had enhancements if you ran it on a SuperGrafx. So, yeah. I'm not sure what the enhancements are, to be honest. This is a great shoot 'em up, regardless. I don't mind playing this, doesn't matter. It's a brilliant shoot 'em up. Right. It's also really, yeah, really hectic when it gets going. It's a bit... It's a bit slow at the moment, but once it starts going, it will go. The sound does keep dropping out, by the way, and I think that's probably our friend, the Retro Tink again, unfortunately. Ooh, look at that, got a shield. I mean, it's a lovely game. Possibly, I would imagine we wouldn't have that parallax if it wasn't on normal PC Engine. I will have to try it on a normal PC Engine just to see. But yeah, when this game gets into its stride, it is a very good game, and it does look gorgeous as well. Right, well, that's it. That's the SuperGrafx. Now, it was originally released obviously in Japan, but it also had a limited release in France as well, and that's because the original PC Engine was quite popular in France. Although maybe that was mainly because they only released it in France rather than the rest of Europe, which is a crying shame. It did get a test release in America, a very limited test release in America. So presumably those machines exist somewhere. But it did not go any further than that, so presumably didn't do well in the test zone, so who knows. But yeah, it's not a fantastic machine in and of itself. But, you know, if you want to be able to play all of the PC Engine games, then if you get SuperGrafx, then you'll at least have access to the whole library, even if some of them probably aren't worth buying this machine for. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit like. If you really enjoyed the video, please hit subscribe. If you didn't enjoy the video or you have something else to say, then please leave it in the comments below. See you next time.